Yeah, we have very few like one-on-one and group coaching is like the coach on student element that Joe McKeon has. So it has to be like someone who's like grinding a lot and like, has to be like the perfect fit. But then like we have a myriad of products ranging in price, and Foxman's involvement is helping me build those products. And I would say like he's doing, definitely his half of the work for Chip Leader AI. And then we're building another product called the Closer that's reviewing his 2 Bellagio 5 Diamond final tables. And, so he's doing at least half of both of those products, and we're working a ton together. And, obviously someone I really enjoy working with, just so much fun in general to talk poker with and listen to what he has to say about it. Well, I grew up in Colorado, and my dad's side of the family always lived in Wisconsin, and we would take a road trip there. It was, 20 hours, my dad, my brother, and I. And we would go drive to northern Wisconsin every year for Christmas and Thanksgiving, hunting season. And the nightly activity was actually poker. And there was no check raises allowed, and it was just like a friendly nickels, dimes, and quarters. You save up we would save up our change for the 6 months before the trip and be so excited to go play.
Was that actually a rule? No check raises allowed? Or was that
yeah. It was like an official rule. And then once grandma died, I was like, and I was already a pro. I was like, guys, we got to take out this no check raising rule.
Yeah. I was gonna say, that doesn't sound like that doesn't sound like your kind of game. So
yeah, I was like, I don't know about this friendly shit, guys. I'm a professional now. Awesome. But there was one time where I was probably like 10 or 11, and my uncle slow rolled me the last hand of the night, and I had lost all my change. And like I was like crying and sad, and I was like, my own family. So like the Kornuth joke was like my own family, and they'd all make fun of me, even like once I won a bracelet and stuff. So it's always, poker's kind of always been there for me. And like I didn't really realize I was going to play until I started to pick it up in college. I would say junior year, and just started to have some success. Like qualified for like the nightly 163. Definitely wasn't a 162 back then. They were getting that extra $1.
There's tax. And what year or where'd you go to school?
CU Boulder.
Nice. Oh, fun.
And I had a few like friends that I got close to at the time, and they were also, striving to be poker players, or at least like, do it as a hobby. And we had like a grocery game we'd joke about where, we would go and win enough money for food for the week. And, I won a tournament for 20 grand, and like it was summertime. I had like 40 grand roll. I took 35 of it to Vegas and took it a shot. Met Ben Lamb, and he needed a roommate, and I dropped out of college and moved to Vegas.
And you moved with who?
I moved in with Ben Lamb, and we're actually neighbors now. He lives 6 houses away.
Oh, wow. So that's pretty sweet. And I look at this, is this summer? So this was July 2008. Is that right?
It's gotta be.
Is that
it's all those firsts and those, in the Bellagio weeklies.
I
won them like every time I played them. They were so soft. They were 40% tournaments.
It's crazy because I think 98% now of my guests that are, there's some live or some online guys, streamers, right, that aren't live guys, but pretty much every guest that's a live tournament player or played tournaments, their first Hendon Mob is a final table. And looks like you went 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row with 3 wins. Pretty.
And that was 6 tournaments too.
That's crazy.
I specifically remember.
That's a hot start. You have won a bracelet. You've had a lot of success. You didn't have to wait long. So this was 2000, I guess 2009, your first WSOP cash. Really, you got in there. You played.
I think 2008 must have been the first WSOP 1K satellite. 2009, I learned a little bit.
Right, and then no waiting though. 2010 5K PLO. I think these were when they were juiced up to a pretty big field. 465K. You take it down. What was that like to be there all of a sudden playing for a bracelet? Were you chip leader? What was your ride to win that one?
I was kind of like in the middle of I would say like the top 20 to 40% of the field the whole time. And then there was this one situation where like I thought Eric Liu was by far the most competent player at the table. And he 3-bet, and I had like a pretty mediocre holding. I had like king, queen, jack 5 or something with a double suited or no, single suited. And I called pre because like I thought if I busted him this hand, like it was pretty clear spot where he had aces a lot. Yeah. I was like, if I bust him, I think I'm going to win this tournament like a huge percentage. And so like the chip EV of me calling his 3-bet was probably quite low, but the 20 or percent of the time that I busted him, my tournament equity just went through the roof. And I got lucky and flopped like a wrap against his top set and ended up stacking him, and that was it.
Wow. And when you say 20%, you mean because first of all, it's obviously the equities, even against aces, you're going to be better than that. But just the fact of actually you beating him and he's stacking off on a board.
Yeah, well, even if the SPR is 1.5, like I still only get to get it in X percentage of the time, and then I win Y percentage of the time. So my guesstimate is that he busts about 20%, but I'm just kind of guessing.
What was it like when you? How did it feel when you won? Was it? I mean, it must be top of the world, right? It was
insane.
Your career, your family like knows you like poker. It's like, all right, look, mom, look, dad, I'm not just doing this for fun. I got real money. I mean, they must be blown away. What was your ego inflated? Did you handle it well? Did you do anything silly afterward, or what was it like following up afterward with what you were doing?
Bankroll
game selections, like
I was so excited to play the 10K PLO the next day that I went home and we smoked some blunts, and I couldn't fall asleep till like 8 in the morning or something. I was just like high on life. But it was like the moment. So like I called a 3-bet and flopped a pair and a gut shot. Just like a standard get in a PLO spot heads up. And the turn was my pair. So I was 95% to win this bracelet. And like all my fans like run up and they're like starting to cheer. I'm like, wait. And like the second the river was a brick, like grab the bracelet off the table and all your friends lift you up. And like back in the day, they used to have like the ESPN 360 cam.
Mm-hmm.
And so somewhere there's footage, you can actually see like everyone like coming in and all your friends picking you up. And like, there's no doubt that at that time, that was the best moment of my life. And like, it was just like so special and cool.
How many tables do you like to play? What's your optimal grind for online?
When I was doing Twitch, it was 6. Like I had 6 little hotkeys that switched between the 6, which I'm sure you have. But when I'm playing otherwise, like I went on a big tournament downswing in like the beginning of quarantine, and I realized that I was just playing too many tables and autopiloting. I probably lost like 400 straight. But then since I got down under 12 tables and I've been like kind of staying at 10 max, like 8 to 10, I've won 400 back since then. So, and I was running really bad, and it was actually kind of difficult, just like any poker player to like, I was like, oh, I'm running bad. And I was like, well, I'm probably doing some other stuff bad too. And like, I focused, and I was not really fighting for pots. I was just autopiloting and check folding. And like, I wasn't battling, I was under C betting. And like when I started to play well again, I was picking up so many pots without showdowns with bad cards that I was like, wow, like how bad was I actually playing to go on this downswing? So, it's hard to see when you're in the moment of like running bad and getting crushed, because you just notice, oh, I got up to 3 starting stacks and then I lost queens to jacks. Like you don't realize that, how many other mistakes you make when the variance is not on your side.
What is one of the biggest aha moments for players that are just sort of amateur or just to turn the corner? What's something that you notice they really need, they're just missing, just point blank?
They act too quickly. The same problem I had during my downswing. And like I was playing too many tables. And so it's like the pressure from your other beeps required me to like click fold in a spot that was a 3-bet, or click check in a spot where I should have bet versus missed on the turn. And so for me, like I actually have mental reminders on my screen and when I'm playing that tells me to slow down, to take my time. Because for me, if I'm taking my time, like I already want to win the hand. And if I'm going to take like 5 extra seconds, I'm actually going to think about what I want to do to win the hand. But if I'm just like autopiloting, I'm going to miss so many of those spots and fold. So taking your time is actually one of the biggest things.
And by taking time though, obviously this is on decisions. So like you're auto folding, clicking, online, you're playing 6, 8 tables.
It's too important to auto fold quickly, because otherwise you're going to waste your time. You're thinking time on those hands when you need to be critically thinking on the others.
Do you have any other multi-table tricks? Any type of ordering or coloring the tables? Like what kind of stuff you can do? You put the buy-ins in order. It looks like you got chance. Share some.
Yeah, so I have 2 monitors, and so my like 5Ks and 10Ks will be like right in the middle. Yeah, because my focus point will be in there for the most part. If I'm on the bubble or in a satellite, I change the background to red to remind myself to stall or to play slightly different, like kind of like a stoplight. I think the color coding noting system is really important. Like for me, the overly aggressive players are red, also like a stoplight. Like, hey, slow down. Like this guy's on your left. Probably shouldn't raise that shit. The ace-4 off. He's just going to 3-bet you with 40% of hands, or and if some guy's a nit, I have him as a certain color as a reminder to raise his big blind more.
When did you decide? What came up where you're like, I should do a coaching thing? Did you see some other coaching?
You're about to get to it on the Hendon Mob, actually.
All right, let's scroll through. It looks like we're getting maybe the Bahamas. So I see a big score lurking there. 2014. You got third here in the Caribbean for a nice score. This one?
So it was the 2016 Heat, I guess you could say. So in 2016, I did like really well in like 325Ks in a row and the 10K and like just had a really big year. And I was actually in the top 5 in the like player of the year and stuff like that for quite a while. And John, my business partner, was like, "Hey man, like you got to strike while the iron's hot. Like we should start a company, like a poker training company." And we did. We didn't even have a name at the time. We didn't really have a structure. And he had the idea of coaching for profit, which is kind of the one-on-one group coaching that we've done before. But, you know, we've had some issues with that. And now we just want to kind of expand to building products and being able to help more people. And we're still going to do the one-on-one and group coaching, but just with a lower frequency.
Yeah, I'm looking over here at this 2016. So you start out the year pretty nice. You go over to Australia, and you just get actually. Well, no, you start out the year in Bahamas, and you had a nice, decent score. Probably some other buy-ins in there, whether it was a great trip or okay trip.
No, those are like the only 2 tournaments I played.
So a good trip. And then you come over and run to Australia and just knock out that. What was that? So that was a 25K. Had you been playing a lot of 25Ks, or when did you start moving up from 10Ks?
I mean, I think my first was like, I think that might have been like the first.
The first, well, one of the Bahamas, because then the Bahamas, and then you had the
I played 100K and bricked it somewhere before this as well.